Can't wait. Yeah, nuisance streamers, very fun. Alright, 3, 2, 1, boom.
Nuisance content creators continue to plague Japan as somehow the most interesting thing they can do for social media.
He's just straight up beast!
Is making the Japanese uncomfortable. So much that there's now posters specifically stating Japan is not a theme park, directed at somebody.
Oh my god. And people told me this was fake, by the way. This is real.
It's not a theme park, directed at—
I remember someone was scolding me and saying, oh my god, this is fake. This is racist. And I'm like, okay, I guess I won't talk about it. This is an actual poster. No circus performance here. Japan is not a theme park.
At somebody. So we'll go into the translations of those signs, how social media sites turn a blind eye to monetizing those unemployed behaviors, and why this is becoming such an issue that Japan had to—
And it's reigniting a lot of racism towards black people in Japan too, even like the ones that just don't do anything and live their life normally. It's so fucking sad.
Make signs reminding people to have common decency, as the man that ran that TikTok has regular videos on YouTube where he sounds super reasonable, so it's confusing how he could be so short-sighted with his Japan antics, as his group of tourists went to Japan to basically use their country as a—
You're such a piece of shit.
background for their mediocre dance moves.
In the middle of the street? Oh, I hate this so much.
Now, I do understand that there is an entire genre of dancing in public that thrives on social media, where they can get millions of views for doing—
Yeah, but the big difference is that there's no one around them. Look, it's literally an empty street. There's no one, they're not blocking the street. Like, yeah, sure, it's kind of stupid, I agree. But look behind them. There's like one person, 1, 2, 3... And there's like maybe some people like really far away. Yeah, they're not obstructing traffic and they're on a sidewalk. Like, it's not that bad.
millions of views for doing so. And I'm obviously not doing videos criticizing those girls, not because of double standards, but because while on the surface they're all dancing in public to feature real-time reactions to their performances, it's just that these girls did it to feature the dances, while those TikTok tourists seem to feature the discomfort. As look at his view—
Yeah, that's also another big thing. Like, yeah, they're pretty girls and they're dancing and they're just showing off their moves. These guys are just being nuisances. They want the attention of people being embarrassed in front of them and cringing.
Count when he's dancing in New York City, or bothering people in their subways. It's not notable, so nobody cares to watch, which are terrible view counts for someone with nearly 2 million followers.
How the fuck?
But then he can get millions of views through nuisance content, as obviously everybody is uncomfortable with him, so he records, saves, and uploads this specific take to get the viewer engaged enough to watch the remaining 15—
Like, why, man? I can handle cringe, but this is just embarrassing, man.
seconds of dancing. And his audience calls him out, saying this isn't New York City, begging him to just leave these people alone.
Yeah, in New York City you get socked.
Pointing out just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that wasn't the only video featuring his team forcing random Japanese people—
They're so uncomfortable too.
people to be in their TikToks, where it seems like cruelty is the content.
Like, look at her, man. She just wants to be left alone, and you're just fucking being weird, man. Oh my god, someone should just fucking call the police on him, man.
And somehow TikTok looks the other way, labeling it as performed or supervised by professionals. Do not attempt. Just—
Oh, well, it's because TikTok doesn't give a crap.
because you slap your Cash App in your profile doesn't mean you're a professional, and judging by their mediocre moves, even by TikTok standards, I don't think these are professional dancers. They're just bullies, as these grown men only seem to want to bother the students, as this dude seems to be keeping a careful eye on them while grabbing his girl, and they never seem to bother anybody like that. Not to mention all the girls holding their skirts, as their signature move is sliding towards strangers. Now
Yeah, that's actually another good point. You're sliding over to girls? Like high school girls, I'm guessing? You freak.
Would like to think that that wasn't the intention, but intention and interpretation can be completely different, especially when you're a foreigner that doesn't even speak the language. As all these poor girls see are these very large men sliding towards them, not only disrespecting their cultural norms, but her personal boundaries as well. So she doesn't know what he might do next, as you don't need to speak Japanese to know this means leave me alone. And
yeah, like, this is basic body language. I've said this before and I've said this again, but some people didn't get. They either don't have parents or they did not get smacked enough.
I just can't imagine anybody that's trying to build their brand online, recording this, uploading it, and not understanding that this is going to forever ensure you will never land anything legitimate, as no brand or dance company in the world is going to take a risk on this resurfacing. And if this was just a one-off incident, maybe I could somewhat understand how they didn't realize Japan is in New York City. But judging by his TikTok page, which is in reverse chronological order, the video of them bothering people in the Japanese subway got millions of views, so they immediately returned to it, and keep in mind there was other subway footage that has since been removed. And what's worse—
TikTok actually did something! That's amazing!
Is other clout-chasing idiots see these videos going viral, so they copycatted those actions in other Asian countries.
Johnny Somali has done irreversible damage to the race relations between foreigners in Japan and Japanese people. It's the ripples have been massive.
Countries right after.
And Korea,
this just sets
you're right.
the terrible precedence of tourists treating high-trust societies like Korea or Japan as a playground and the only way they can finally get people to pay attention to them, further deepening Japanese people's prejudices against us. As Japan straight up has a MAGA movement now, where I don't know if they just like the concepts of borders, conservatism overall, or maybe just the memes.
We will make America proud.
What? Dude, that's insane. I had no idea. What the fuck?
But we're now seeing posters saying no circus performances here in both Japanese and English, saying Japan is not a theme park, crossing out a guy with a very specific haircut, not commonly known to the Japanese. Also posting a sign that definitely couldn't be made in America, illustrating 3 individuals bothering—
Wait, why did he have to censor this? It's a and people called this fake too, by the way. Yeah.
And otherwise peaceful subway
they were monkeys.
That roughly translates to have manners. Be aware—
Why did they blur out animals?
Of your surroundings and care about the people around you. Specifically, be quiet in the car. Now I know people would be offended by their particular choices in animals, but I really wonder if whoever made this poster did it specifically to drive a point home, as anybody posting this in a Western country would immediately be fired. But although docile in public, Asian countries don't quite have the same chill as we do here. And judging how that poster was mainly written in Japanese, it makes me think they were exclusively communicating the message through the illustrations. As we have seen similar signs in New York City, showing an obviously Asian woman bothering what looks to be a Middle Eastern man, which is an interesting choice of representation, as I haven't been there in a while, but I don't
What? Why is it an Asian woman and a Middle Eastern man?
Recall there being an abundance of rambunctious Asian girls on the subway, so much that would warrant printing out and posting a sign.
Hey bro, I don't run no damn until look at that.
What?
For the birthday, 3 times for the birthday.
Okay.
I think like everyone does it at a certain point, man. I don't know. I think everybody does it. It doesn't matter what race you are.
Okay, so maybe things have changed. The point being, it's not a race thing, it's a culture thing. And for a lot of those Japanese kids being bothered in those TikToks, they might have encountered 100 Americans that look just like that dancer, but they're probably only going to remember the one that slid towards their skirt, especially if he goes viral on social media, bringing in an entire wave.
And also, Japan is, actually unironically xenophobic.
wave of copycats, all desperately trying to cash out on that nuisance clout, which is forcing the Japanese to actually change the laws for all foreigners. As one of my favorite corners of YouTube is those walking through Japan in 4K videos, as it just looks so peaceful and clean, making me incredibly jealous that Los Angeles—
the very homogenous society. Of course they're gonna pick something that stands out. Yeah, like, of course! The homogenous society. Korea's very homogenous. Japan's very homogenous.
This doesn't look like this, so I hope—
it's very conformist too, like very conformist.
That one day I'd make enough money to go visit, adding unique adventures like Mario Karting through Tokyo, until I understood how much the locals actually hate it, as I imagine if I was late to work in my hometown and a bunch of hooligans were holding up traffic, treating my morning commute like a playground, I'd be pretty annoyed too, so I'd respect the country enough not to do it, as we want to visit the Japan seen in that serene 4K footage, not a Japan filled with American idiots screeching through the streets pretending they're Luigi. But it's always the tourists that demand you respect their culture that never stop to think if they're disrespecting.
I've never done that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's the same thing as when you're a little kid and you go to someone's house. You don't start yelling and, like, demanding things from their mom. You're not at your house, you little twerp. What the fuck, you dweeb? Respect the people that invite you into their house. You are invited into their country, into their house. Like, if you want to shit up your own place, like, that's fucking cool, whatever. But you're in someone else's place. They invited you. I've never done that, ever.
Yours, as that rail company in Japan actually considered legal actions against the TikTokers. Other American tourists are getting arrested over their antics, while the Japanese city had to block the view of Mount Fuji to stop the foreigners from visiting, as the actions of a few short-sighted, selfish people can really ruin society.
Because it went viral, the blocked off thing is the same principle. It's just not as bad as, you know, freaking out on the subway. It's just because of the virality. Social media has done so much damage to tourism. They see something popping off. The Sakura Festival also has been kind of ruined because it's so popular with tourists. Excuse me.
Society for everybody. And the saddest part about all of this is it was literally for nothing, because I'd like to say I know a bit about becoming a social media influencer at this point. And what these nuisance streamers or content creators don't understand is going viral for something that you can't or wouldn't want to replicate is worse than not going viral at all. You can build a base of subs that enjoyed seeing you doing something stupid, but unless you want to progressively do stupider things to maintain that audience, you can't pivot into anything you'd actually be proud of.
Exactly. That is such a good point too. Some people see success in one thing and they have to stick to it. They just want to only do that thing, and eventually they will either run out of content or B, do something so stupid that it kills them. Or it makes them stop, you know, content creation or whatever. Either or. Whatever works.
As you've effectively trained the algorithm that you only appeal to an audience of degenerates, forever immortalizing your idiocy to those millions of viral views. And I do these videos covering unemployed behaviors, not necessarily to dunk on anybody, but to hopefully show them the bigger picture and possibly prevent the next generation of nuisance streamers. But
they're not going to. Normies will not see this video and be like, this is awful. Maybe I should stop. This is gonna keep going until it's either A, the government does something about it and introduces like anti-influencer laws, which I guess could happen, or B, someone gets killed and it goes faster. Yeah, there's only two ways.
More importantly, to protect what's left of Japan before I can finally save enough to go visit. So if you appreciate my concise, light-hearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how Korea finally took care of the problem that Japan set free.
I don't think some people understand that looking at 31 years doesn't mean he's getting 31 years. Yeah, I should probably clarify that. Getting 31 years... like, looking at 31 years means that they laid out the case and he could potentially get 31 years, but not every single charge is going to go through, so he probably get less than that. Yeah, it doesn't mean he's getting 31 years definitively. He could, it's possible. But not every charge that's laid out against him is valid. Or, you know, valid in the court of law.